Hello and welcome back to the Ronin, and you can see right here we're having another little get-together with the Botanians. I'm sure they're going to be very pleased to see us once again. I was actually besieging Epicrotia, as you can no doubt tell from the walls being relatively damaged. We actually almost had them down, and I was very much looking forward to heading in there and trying to take it. Because, as I said before, this town is really, really good for a variety of different reasons, but in general, I was interrupted. Yes, I was interrupted by a very large army indeed. They actually have more people than we do. So yeah, this is going to be kind of interesting to find out who will be victorious in the end. So let's head on in to the manual battle and we'll see if we can pull out some kind of amazing miracle here, because I personally, I'm not sure. Here's the thing. If these were the Crusade, I would probably think to myself, you know what, I'm probably going to just take a couple of losses and then just try to get away, because I really don't want to have a complete and utter defeat. But due to the combat strength right here, I think we should have a decent chance. And ooh, now this is actually really nice. Okay, this is pretty good. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to take advantage of it. Having the river in the middle between the two forces, that is super, super useful for us. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to make a good go of things. Now, I know that there's an enemy coming up here, I think. Are they? No, he's run back now. Right. I was actually hoping that I'd be able to eliminate him at least a little bit. Alright, never mind, never mind. Okay, so let me actually just move my archers a little bit down here. There we go, there we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, now what I would love to do is actually spread my archers out a little bit, but as it stands, they might not even have the ability to do that because they are just so incredibly tightly packed in that little bottleneck area, but I kind of wanted them to stay there because it protects them from flanks, from cavalry, which is pretty useful. I mean, really, you know, it's pretty useful to have that kind of protection here. However, I think we're probably going to be okay. I mean, you can quite clearly tell here that this is a pretty weakened side here. But if I stay around this area, we should have a decent enough time. And now that I've told them to go loose, this is even better because you can see that they all have space to fire. They're all firing at the same time into the opponent. And that is causing a lot of additional casualties. Now, most of my infantry are indeed in shield wall formation as well. Now, here's the thing. They can't do anything. This particular formation that we've got going here, thanks to the various rocks on our side of the map, are making things extremely difficult for the opponent, because they're not going to really have any idea what they can do to counter this, because we have so many really good shield units at the front. They're obviously not going to be able to do much about those, because they're all blocking for each other and everything. You know how shield units work when they're working very closely with each other. They work very, very well. And apart from that, our archers, they're so spread out that every single one of them is getting massive amounts of damage output, and they're completely safe with the exception of cavalry coming around the side. But if some cavalry does come around the side, like you've seen here, someone actually did manage to get around, then it makes no difference. It makes no difference for us, because even if the cavalry does get through, they're just going to get killed. And that's it. They're just going to get killed. There's nothing they can do about it, which is fantastic. So I'm going to just try and run a little bit of interference here and there. I'm not really going to try too hard to get kills or anything like that. I'm basically just going to act as kind of like a safety buffer between their forces and mine. And hopefully that will be enough to ensure the victory. Oh, nice thrust attack right there. Usually I don't use this polearm for thrusting at all, because let's face it, I'm not very good at thrusting attacks when it comes to using polearms here. So it really does need to be perfect circumstances for me to be able to do that. And usually if I have a good amount of speed and the enemy's in a decent position, then there you go. Now, if I were to do it right now, for example, yeah. See? That's exactly what I'm talking about. If I try to do it on purpose, you know, with like some wind-up, it's like I get a little bit too nervous, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna miss. You know, that seems like the way that I should do things, but no. Instinctually seems to be the way to go, and hopefully that will put us in good stead. Oh, no, no. Oh, I did not want to do that. I did not want to do that one bit. That was really bad. I was actually trying to veer off and avoid the polearm that was coming very close to us. But yeah. Okay, my infantry's actually started to allow enemies in from the left side. That's not exactly good. I don't really like that, so maybe I can reposition them a little. But they're basically just facing towards where most of the enemy is coming from right now. That was the main reason why they're doing that. Technically, I think you can tell them to stop facing the enemy automatically, but I kind of want them to do that anyway, just in case I am not around to tell them to do that. Although, I mean, generally I'd have to be right there. You know what I mean? I'm not even talking about if I get eliminated or something, because if I do get eliminated, then of course auto-delegate will take over, but it seems as though we are done. Let's tell everyone to charge in, and I believe our wow. Look at our casualties. We literally have suffered 4 wounded, and this is against an enemy that has more units than we do. Just think of that. Think of that on us for a second. That is actually crazy. That is only due to the fact that we had an overwhelming environmental advantage, and of course because we have shield wall units backed up with, again, a massive height advantage for our archers, and they were able to shoot over our infantry so simply, so easily and elegantly that they were just murdering everything in sight. That really made a huge difference. Okay, I believe that's it. I think we can pretty much just write off the battle now. We can pretty much just go, yep, that's a victory for us. I don't think we really need to worry at all anymore. And I'm a little bit worried about getting killed myself, to be honest, because I'd like to still participate in the siege if I can. I'd like to murder as many of these cavalry as possible. Don't really want to deal with cavalry if I can. So if there's a future battle or something like that, then that's also the reason why I want to try and eliminate as many routing units as possible too. Because anytime these guys are able to escape, they're either going to reinforce a garrison or they're going to reinforce someone else's army, and that's obviously something that we do not want to have happen. So anytime we can try and reduce those numbers, then that's going to be really good for us. No. Vlandir Peasant stopped me in my tracks. That's all due to him having a polearm. Yes. I think in general, if I was going to maybe play a cavalry unit in the future, I'd probably maybe install one of those mods that makes it possible for horses to go through that kind of thing. But the problem with that is that it then, in turn, makes the Crusade extremely strong, because then they're going to be able to go through those things as well. So, if you can imagine that, you know, making the Crusade even stronger than they already are, and then them having very little counters whatsoever. Because obviously, a good polearm, you know, it's always going to stop any kind of cavalry, but if you remove that and make horse charges a little bit more impactful, then someone like the Crusade, faction like them, probably going to be very difficult to deal with. So that's obviously something to bear in mind if we were to install something like that. But obviously at the moment I don't have anything like that installed, so we don't really have to worry about it right now. But maybe in the future, I think I have had that installed in a previous series, and I think it's called something like Zorbarax's Deadly Horse Charges or something like that. I think someone also mentioned that in the comments in the past couple of episodes. I think when I was actually saying that it's kind of frustrating to get stopped by polearms, and I do appreciate your suggestions, absolutely, so thank you very much for that. However, as I say, I'm not entirely sure at the time whether I wanted to make the Crusade super powerful, and as I've already said, I don't really want to install any mods right now, because if I install mods then there's always that chance for instability, and I kind of want to prevent any problems from occurring, because the game is in a bit of a fickle state. at the moment, because a lot of version changes are happening, and the mod creators are, you know, scrambling to try and get their mods updated to the game's version, and it's just, yeah, it's a big pain for them, which is really quite sad. I feel like there should be an easier way for that to happen, because there are a lot of mods that get left behind in previous versions, and while we are able to access the previous versions through the Steam properties menu, it's still, you know, it's still kind of sad, because then you're not going to be able to play with the most up-to-date version, or whatever the case may be. So there's always going to be that kind of incompatibility until the game is fully done and finished. But there you go, look at that. What an incredible, incredible battle right there. And we were able to take so many of them prisoner, which is actually fantastic. I'm partially thinking that maybe we'll let some of these people go, because being able to gain relation with these people might actually make sense, but I'm not entirely sure whether we should do that, to be honest, because if we do that, it's just going to mean that their armies will be back on the battlefields so much quicker, and we really don't want that to happen either. So there's a whole kind of like weird conflict going on in my mind at the moment, basically like, oh, do we want to let them go for that extra relation increase, or do we just want to keep them, you know, keep taking them prisoner and things? And to me, wait a minute, no, we lost one of them. Did we? Yes, we lost one of my companions. Yeah, we lost one of my companions. Thankfully, it wasn't my wife. Oh, that would have been awful. Ugh. Yeah, then we'd have to go through that whole courting thing again. That would be pretty terrible, because the persuasion system is not exactly great. I'm not a big fan of the persuasion system. I like it, don't get me wrong. I think it's really cool that there is a persuasion system to speak of, but the way that it works at the moment is not really to my liking. Anyway, let's continue the siege, and let's see what we can do, because we are still fine. I mean, literally, we took 8 casualties total in that entire battle. I can't believe it, to be honest. I mean, obviously I can believe it because it happened, but generally the environmental advantage that we had gained right at the start, thanks to the river being in the center, that made a huge difference. Because I don't know whether you noticed, but on the world map, obviously this is also going to be coming in a future update for Bannerlord as well. I think I made a video on my thoughts on update number 7 or whatever it was. And basically what the developers are planning on doing is they're going to be making environmental effects, like for example rivers and mountains and forests and so on and so forth, just that much more impactful and dynamic when it comes to battlefields. And what that means is when you go into a battle, if you're like, for example, let's say you're over there, right? Let's say you're over there by that small little village and you're right next to this little mountainous area, then you're basically going to see this mountainous area in the battlefield itself. So it's not just going to be like a predetermined, you know, tile set or whatever that the game chooses out of like 3 or 4 possible options. It's literally going to be like almost, I wouldn't say procedurally generated, but it's going to be generated based on what is on the world map. That's what I basically mean to say there. So that's really, really cool in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now I'm hopeful. Please don't attack. Can we get it down? Can we get it down? Yes. Whew. Okay. This is great. Let's do this. Okay, this is not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to try and weaken the garrison just that much more, but I really did not want to get another field battle against the Battanians. So what I'm hoping on doing is being able to get in here right now, right this second, and just slaughtering everyone that we can, and then just relaxing a little bit. You know, just relaxing a little bit inside the walls of Epicrotia, and having my horse run into that piece of jutting out wood, because that's exactly what I tend to do. But yeah, you know, let's just ignore that. Yes, but otherwise, I'm going to tell everyone to charge in here. I don't really want them to show any kind of restraint here. I literally want them to just charge in with the utter viciousness that I have come to know and very much appreciate my forces to do. So let's see if I can do massive damage. Massive damage is what I require. Thank you very much. Let's get him. Well, it looks to me like we've got this locked down completely, and it doesn't seem like any of the enemy are going to be escaping that easily. As you can see there, I was actually just attempting to aim at that fellow that was running in the distance, because I thought to myself, that might be a pretty decent amount of experience gained, because obviously I'm actually not sure whether this game does that as well, but in Warband at least, the distance that you fire from is also taken into account in terms of the amount of proficiency that you may very well get. I don't know whether that's the same here, but I thought I might give it a go, but unfortunately the guy managed to escape. So we're just going to do as much damage as we can to any of the enemies in here now. It seems like some of the garrison is actually being introduced now too, because I've only seen militia so far. I mean, you could see that I was slaughtering a lot of militia archers and stuff like that, and generally I'm starting to see a lot more higher tier units, but of course I don't know whether that's going to make any difference. Look at this. Look at how many we've killed so far. We've lost 22, which is actually quite significant, but they are still gaining units. How many have we eliminated? Oh, wow. Okay, we've actually eliminated so many. Wow, that is actually crazy. But of course, we've seen this happen to me. You know, we have we've had walls down in the past, and we have just completely lost. Like, no one's business. The only time that we did not lose is when we had a much more locked down bottleneck. That was pretty much it. That was the only reason why we actually managed to achieve victory there. And maybe also that I was actually able to contribute a little bit more than just a, handful of kills, and then me getting murdered by my own ineptitude, falling off something or whatever. But yeah, that really is all she wrote, pretty much. And that's it. Done. We've taken Epicrotia very nicely, I might add, and hopefully no one is going to die. Let's just hope. It's always these big sieges that I'm dreading, because whenever I go into one of these big sieges, I'm always like, okay, wait a minute, please no one die, No! Wait a minute, we lost someone! We lost Kiraslava! She was one of our best! I can't believe it! What? Oh, that's actually... why do I mention it, face palming. Why do I mention it? I don't know. Okay, well, apparently I should not be mentioning those things anymore, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to mention it ever again, and yeah, I will mention it, don't worry. I will mention it very, very soon. Okay, so let me actually just take a quick look here. I'm just going to try and see if I can find someone. I'm going to take this guy, because he's a swordsman. Sounds like a pretty fun guy to have in our army here, potentially. And I'm going to just go into Epicrotia, and we're just going to basically just kind of get a little bit closer, because I wanted to be a bit further away from where this army was, just in case they started the siege, because they're going to siege around here. And I didn't want to, if I were to leave the fief for some reason or another, didn't really want to be right next to them, you know what I mean? That would be pretty bad. Anyway, let's see. Any additional... no? Okay, no additional things that I can take here. But we do have a new companion that I can outfit in the best possible stuff. He seems to be... He actually seems to be a pretty good rider as well. So, let's give him a whole bunch of stuff. Let's give him one of these. I don't have anything... Oh, I have something better. There we go. Give him that. There we go. That's much better for him. And yeah, then we can just basically give him a whole bunch of really, really good stuff. So we're just going to give him this. We're going to try to give him... Oh, where's the gloves? There we go. There's some gloves. And then the boots. And we need to give him some shoulders as well. Apparently I have no shoulders, or very, very few of those. There we go. There's one. And then we want to give him a sword and a shield. Seems like he's a one-handed weapon user. So let's give him a heavy round shield right there. And we'll give him one of these, like we do with everyone. And I'm not entirely sure what else he's good at. So let me actually just take a quick look at his character screen. Wow, he's really good at two-handed. I might want to give him a two-handed. He's pretty awful at riding, by the way. I'm actually kind of surprised that he can ride the pureblood. Why is he able to ride the pureblood? Isn't the pureblood like a really high-ranking horse? Or apparently not. Apparently you can ride it at any time. Is that true? If that's true... Wait a minute. Was I giving it to the right guy? Yes, I was. Look at that. He can't ride this, which is hilarious, but he can ride this. No, that requires nothing, as you can quite clearly tell. It requires no riding skill whatsoever, so you could ride this at literally 1 riding skill. That's actually crazy. Okay, well, I'm going to give him a 2-handed weapon then. Let's see if I actually even have one. Let's see if I have a 2-handed weapon. Where is it? Where are the 2-handeds? Okay, so I have some 2-handed axes, but that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, that seems to be it. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe there's something that I made. Could I make him one? I mean, maybe I can make him one. I have a bunch of materials still. So let me actually go into the smithy and see if I can make him a nice 2-handed sword. Because, I mean, not everyone gets this treatment, by the way, sir. Yes, not everyone. Okay, so here we go. This is a pure 2-handed weapon. Gonna make the blade really, really large, so it can do massive damage. And then we're just gonna give him really, really good stuff right here. Don't really want... I'm gonna have to get more of that, aren't I? Yeah, I will have to get more of that. Okay, I don't want it to be a 1-handed / 2-handed sword, so I'm hopeful that maybe I can make it... Yes, there we go. That's perfect. Let's make this a little bit lower. That's a little bit lower. Let's make this a little bit lower as well. And there we have it. Okay, so how are we doing here? 112 reach, that's pretty good. The swing cutting damage is okay. It's 104, not too bad. We can make this. There we go. Let me see if I can maybe... Yeah, there we go. That might be a little bit better. Swing speed's pretty nice here. The weapon reach is not as much as I want, so I'm actually going to see if I can make the blade a little bit larger. I think this is looking pretty nice for him. I think this is looking pretty nice. So I'm going to go for something like this, and we're going to call it something cool. So let's see. Hopefully I'm going to make it... Did I not get anything? I didn't get anything at all. Okay, I'm just going to make that. And then we're going to make another one and see if we can get some weapon stats for him. No. No weapon stats. Okay, I'm out of materials now, basically. I mean, the ones that I'm actually using right here. So I'm just going to call it something like... desert... I mean, he's from the desert, right? So let's just call it... wait. Desert Dervish. There we go. Sounds like a good one. All right. And yeah, we'll just go with that. Okay, so we're going to give him that, and then hopefully he can use that to good effect, because he obviously has the most proficiency in 2-handed, so it makes the most sense to give him something like that. Let me see. Where is the Desert Dervish? Where is it? Oh, this is actually a nice 2-handed sword. Wait. Maybe that's better than what I just made him. Yeah, oh no, I bet it's better. Okay, let me just give him this, and then we'll see. Okay, wait. No, it's actually not better, because it's a 1-handed / 2-handed. Wait a minute. Let me see. No, it is actually not better. Okay, so that's good. I was really worried about that for a second. I thought to myself, wait a minute. If this random sword is better than what I've just made, then I'm going to, well, not going to do anything, basically, but yeah, that would have been really, really disappointing. All right, so what I'm going to do is, in my off-screen time between episodes, I'm going to make that guy into a party member, or should we say clan leader, party leader, whatever, and then I'm just going to give him a whole bunch of units from Omor, probably, because I don't have any units in Epicotia right now, and I'm going to stay here for some time just to try and reinforce it a little bit. I'm probably going to give it to myself, maybe. It really depends on how many people are actually supporting me in comparison to someone else. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.